but never put yourself down because of a comparison to someone else. You can admire people, you can be inspired by people, you can be motivated by people, but don't ever be like, okay, I'm never going to reach that. If you put your mind to it, you will. And compare you against you today against you yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Role Models, a space where I get to chat with people who are inspiring, motivating, who have made huge achievements and made a difference not only in their lives, but the lives of other people. She went from no exercise, no training. She allowed me to say this. She went from a couch potato to being an Iron Woman. She completed an IronMan in a matter of months. So all the way from Saudi Arabia, please welcome the beautiful Jude Jamjoom.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Hopefully I can live up to the hype.
You already do. I know for sure that you inspire so many people already. But for those who don't know, what is an Ironman?
All right, so let's go back to the bare essentials. A Ironman race is a triathlon. Triathlon meaning it's a multidisciplinary sport consisting of swimming, then cycling, and then running. Now, in general, triathlons have different distances. You can start from a super sprint to an Olympic distance, and then you can go up to a half Ironman and a full Ironman distance. So just to give you like a benchmark of what a super sprint triathlon race is, it's very short. It's about 400 meters swimming, followed by around 10 kilometers cycling, followed by 2.5 kilometers running. And then you have the full Ironman, which is about 4 kilometers swimming, followed by a 190-kilometer bike course ride, and then followed by a full marathon. Wow. So those are the two extremes of triathlon.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so that's what people don't know, which is nice, is that you can start off with a super baby sprint triathlon and then grow your way up. And for me, I didn't even know that. All I knew was, oh, there's this race called Ironman that I want to do, and I jumped to it. Even for people who are intimidated by the numbers, you know, just to get them starting, they even call it like try a triathlon. That's how short it is. Anyone with any fitness level can do it.
Going back to the day literally you woke up and you submitted your application, like what motivated you? What said, okay, this is what I'm doing today?
All right. So this was late 2017. My friend, her name is Mace. Shout out to Mace Abusi. Woo! She was just showing me videos of a race she did called Ironman. And all I could see was this woman on a bike crying because she was in excruciating pain. And I was like, for some reason, probably I'm into torture or something. I saw that and I was like, I think I want to do that. Well, actually, it was like, I wonder if I can do that. And then she said, well, of course you can do it if you do the training. And something about that just stuck in my head. It's like, yeah, if I want to do it, I can. It's just I have to put in the work for it. And
love that. Yeah.
It just stayed with me, that statement. And she told me, you know what, I'm personally signed up for a race. It's in Vichy. It's August 2018. You have enough time to start training for it if you want to join me. This was literally December 2017. And I went home. I found the registration link. I went on a whim. I signed up. I paid. I did everything. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. 2 months later, I texted her and I said, you know what? I signed up 2 months ago. I have no clue what to do. She said, okay, now you need a coach. And that's when it started. The actual training started February 2018. And I did my first half Ironman in August 2018.
I think so many people think, no, I can never do that. And that mentality stops them from actually doing it. Whereas you had literally like a few months to train. How did you train and how did you avoid injuries? Because I think like going from zero to so much must have taken a toll on your body.
Yeah. Going back to the point, like that mentality, we had a bit of a talk with Shireen Jeremy. She's one of the first Iranian woman to ever represent females in triathlon. She told us like that was her mentality, like always taking it like, what's the worst that can happen? So I'll try. Just taking it day by day and one task at a time, and really having that believe in yourself that if you do put the work, that you will get something out of it. For me, that's what it was all about. I remember telling my family that I signed up, and my family is very supportive, so I don't want to come off like I'm bashing them or throwing shade at them. But I remember the first reaction. My little sister's like, "Why don't you actually like start working out before you take on the half Ironman?" Like, you have to see, like, I was someone that did not work out, was very couch potato. At one point in my life, I was categorized as morbidly obese. But I was determined that I don't care, like, even if I'm overweight, even if it's not probably the healthiest thing to do on my knees, that I was going to take it one step at a time. And if I ever felt like I was putting myself at injury or at risk, I would then try to readjust my goals. But for now, I was determined that I was going to do this. I started just watching inspirational videos, you know, people who've done the Ironman. And I've seen like all types of people doing it, people with some disabilities, people overweight, people who are, you know, struggling with addiction, and that came out of it really through this sport, having this goal in mind. So it was something that I thought I connected. Like, my form of addiction was food and eating, and so I was coming out of an addiction, and I was, you know, I was striving for something more for myself. And to that, I really took it one step at a time. I remember, and this is so funny, like my first training drill was 30 minutes, and I had to run for 5 minutes and then walk for 4 minutes, run for 5 minutes and then walk for 3 minutes. Like, the 5 minutes that I was running, I was dying. I was like, I was out of breath. I couldn't continue. And it's just so nice to see the progression, really, you against you. And I'm not marking myself against anyone else. I'm just seeing how far I've come. At one point, I started off 80 kilograms when I started training, and I went down like to 63 just through the workouts. I really, the goal, like I always had when I was losing weight and was struggling with my weight, my first goal was, you know, I wanted to look better. I wanted to, you know, fit into a nice dress. And it was always for the physical aspect of it. Really, when I was training, my main goal was to become aerodynamic, so I can be lighter on the bike, so I can be lighter on my joints, so I can be quicker, so my cadence can be faster. And really, that as a goal, it made me more conscious of what I eat and make better decisions.
I love to hear how you started literally with baby steps. I think when somebody hears, you know, training for an Ironman, they go straight into, you know, I have to do 4K, or I have to do the unrealistic numbers. What has been the most memorable, good and bad experience that you had throughout the journey?
So I guess my most memorable experience would be my first triathlon. We went to Greece.
Wow.
And it was in Khania. It was a beautiful experience. I remember when I opened my bike, my derailleur, so it's basically the thing that holds your back wheel, fell off.
Oh no.
And I was just so worried. I remember calling up the closest bike shop. All the stores were telling me, we have a long weekend, we're already closed. I remember this one shop told me, yeah, we're open, but we close at 2, and it was like probably 1:15, and it was 20 minutes or 40 minutes to get there by car. I kept on calling and telling them, you know what, I'll tip good. I'll tip you very well. Just please stay open. And finally, the taxi arrives after what it seems to be like ages and a century of waiting. I spent like probably 20 minutes inspecting it. They didn't have the same nail that would hold up my derailleur. Finally, they find this solution, and they say, you know what, this should hold. I'm like, wow, that sounds very, very reassuring.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want it to drop in the middle of the race. I just remember my target for the race, it was an Olympic distance, meaning it was 1,500 kilometers swim, followed by 40 kilometers on the bike, followed by 10 kilometers run. So
Oh,
that was my first triathlon. You have to keep in mind, this is such a local race in Khania, such a tight community, and they're all like Olympian Greek gladiators. Like they all waited for me to finish the race because I was the slowest one. I remember telling one of the organizers, she's saying, okay, so what's your target? I told her 5 hours. And she just like laughed at me. Funny, you mean 2, right? And I'm like, no, I actually mean 5. And I just remember finishing the race. My mom, she's taking a video and I'm asking her, uh, out of breath. She told me the time. Instantly, when she told me it was 12 o'clock, I knew that I had done much better than what I expected. And I started crying because I was so happy. You know, I did it and did it in better time than I expected. This Greek man ran the last 5 kilometers with me because I was the only one on the course. So he wanted to motivate me. And he didn't speak English. He was speaking to me in Greek, but it was so effortless. He was running with me and holding my water. This is an old man. He's probably 60 plus, amazing physique. And I just remember running and him beside me and saying, I want to be like that at his age. And then he was coaching me on how to breathe. So he was listening to my breath and he was telling me, he was just telling me, breathe like me. And I just remember finishing the race so happy.
And you also mentioned before your support from family. Your mom being there and your family supporting you is unbelievable to see, and it must be unbelievable to have during those competitions. But how much is support and community important to you, whether it's from people with like-minded interests or other competitors or family? Like, how did that push you to go on?
Definitely, it's really, it takes a village, not just to get you across the finish line, but it's to carry you through the journey. For instance, the most recent race was Dubai half Ironman. I had gained a bit of weight after Marrakesh half Ironman, which I really cut. I cut off a lot of weight for that race, and specifically, I did it intentionally because it was a very hilly course. So when you have hills, you need to be aerodynamic to go up those hills. The race was about 1,000 plus elevation gain. So we went high, and I managed to cut off a lot of time from Vichy, around 45 minutes, even though the elevation gain was much more. So that for me was a very proud moment. Finished the race on the 25th of October, and on the 26th they announced the opening of Dubai half Ironman's race. I was like just getting out my credit card and paying, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing another race. And Dubai was February 2020. So after the race, I did take a little bit of, relaxed time, gave myself some time to really enjoy this, the accomplishment. And I started working, and it became so difficult to juggle training while working, while probably 3 or 4 business trips during this period. And for some reason, when you travel, it's really difficult to stick to your training program. So at around late January, I remember just saying, you know what, it's not worth it. I know I'm going into this race and I'm not going to do better. I haven't been training. At that point in time, everyone around me, my family, my friends were saying, just look at the numbers, Jude. We know for a fact, based on your running, and this is my running group in Jeddah, that you're much more faster than what you were doing before your Marrakesh race. Stop doubting yourself. I remember going on Strava, my numbers were actually better. So yeah, they were actually better. And despite you're always putting yourself down and you don't know it. That was the first thing. And then the second thing, like I was also like shaming myself for gaining weight, and they were saying you gained 4 kilograms and you're still hitting faster numbers on your run. Probably muscle, it's probably something else. So try to be more optimistic about the situation. And my mom and dad particularly said, you're not doing this to become a professional. You're doing this to have fun, to stay healthy, and to do something you're passionate about and to grow at it. If you stop at the first sight of, oh, I think I'm not going to do good, I think I'm bad, then you're never going to continue. And this kind of mindset is going to consume you. Do it for fun. I literally remember going into that race so relaxed, so happy. It's like, yeah, I'm just doing this race to finish. I have no goals. I slept like a baby that day. Usually race nights are horrible because I'm just like so like excited and on an adrenaline high that I can't sleep. But it was just such a relaxed race. And then I managed to cut off another 45 minutes.
No way!
And that for me was such a beautiful thing, because I thought I was not training, not in good shape. And probably had I been training maybe more efficiently and more effectively, and been sticking to my schedule, I know for a fact that I could have done so much better, which gave me even much more motivation.
I love that. That is incredible. Because I think you are your worst enemy. Like, your mind just knows how to put you down. What barriers did you have training and competing in Saudi Arabia, weather-wise and as a woman?
So I love that you asked me that question, because really, with all the change that's happening in the kingdom, I felt it probably most because I was training for triathlon. I remember when I first started training in 2018, that was before women were allowed to drive. At one point in time, a friend of mine, she knew I was training. She told me, you know what, there are these groups that go open road and they cycle together, men and women. SubhanAllah, when you start working on something and looking for something, everything comes to you. I really am now a believer. You attract what you want. Like, I discovered triathlon clubs that were in the kingdom for like 10 years and above. I discovered that, Saudi women who have been doing triathlons way before me, and all this time I thought like, oh, I'm a pioneer. I'm the first Saudi woman to do this, and then I was like, oh wow, there are actually people that have been doing this. And I remember this young boy called Abdul Aziz Al Muwallad. He was the first one to ever take me on an open road ride. It was just so invigorating, because like I felt so free. I was like, I'm on the open road, I'm cycling, there's a car beside me. You have like some people who are just surprised, like, what the hell's going on, looking at you, and some people who are just so like, yeah, you go girl. And it's so nice to be a part of that, change in mindset, change in way. And it just now has become so organic, and it feels natural, as opposed to how it felt when I started. It was like, what am I doing? Am I safe? How are people are going to react? What am I supposed to wear? And now it feels effortless, because more and more people are cycling, more and more women are on the road. Obviously, I started off when women weren't driving. Now women drive. And it just, within 2 years, you have this completely drastic change, and it feels so good. It feels so safe, and I'm very happy about that.
So if anybody, whether it's in Saudi or the Middle East or around the world, would you encourage them to seek out those clubs? Like, I hear you talk a lot about Jeddah Tribe, or Tribe Jeddah.
Yes, Jeddah Tribe.
Do they provide support and moral and expertise and training sessions? And would you recommend it for somebody who's looking for help?
Definitely. So there have been a lot of groups that really have built my, let's say, my character, built my strength. Part of them are two groups. One of them is called Jeddah Running Collective, and the other one is called Hijaz. I only got the confidence to go on the road, to train on the road, and because of these groups. And once I got into triathlon, I thought, okay, we need something that again combines all three disciplines: swim, bike, run. To that effect, really a group of friends and I who are doing triathlons together, and really we said, okay, I really love what triathlon has added to my life. I feel a big segment of the community still don't know what it is. And I want to start introducing it by introducing small scale races. And we started Jeddah Tribe November 2019. Literally, we started off with a race of 15 people. Today, we're growing the community because of COVID-19. What we're doing is a bunch of virtual training sessions. So we go on this virtual platform called Zwift. We cycle together. Also, we try to do Zoom runs together where everyone is on their treadmill. We're really opening it up to all levels. It's been such a rewarding experience, alhamdulillah.
So to end this chat, if you could give any advice, whether it's life advice or training advice, what would you give?
I would say always believe in yourself. You can do anything you set your mind to, and take baby steps at it, and only compare you against you. For some reason, we have this tendency to keep on comparing ourselves to others, really, whether it's through social media, how I look, what lifestyle I have, my fitness level, my work, my career, everything in life. It's always done probably out of, a comparison of to others. I'm not saying don't be competitive, don't be like pursuing high dreams and high hopes for yourself, but never put yourself down because of a comparison to someone else. You can admire people, you can be inspired by people, you can be motivated by people, but don't ever be like, okay, I'm never going to reach that. If you put your mind to it, you will. And compare you against you today against you yesterday, and giving yourself the right to make mistakes and the right to have a bad day. You won't always have a good day, you won't always have a good training session, whether it's at work or in your training program, but it's okay. You can have a bad day, but you pick yourself up and you keep on going.
Thank you so much. You described it and explained it so perfectly, and you're just the best.
Thank you so much, Alexandra.
Thank you for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the video as much as I did making it. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you know somebody who's inspirational and motivational in your life, or if you are that somebody and would like to share your story, please do reach out to me. Otherwise, keep on spreading the love and spread a smile a day.